Hey guys, so if you look at the date, you'll see it's been a while since I picked up the camera to update you on my script writing progress, but that is not because I have not been doing anything productive. I spent most of the last month or two trying to apply to various screenwriting classes at Massachusetts College of Art and Design, Boston University, and then there's a screenwriting class at Harvard that had this like extensive application that I was working on. I ended up getting to the Harvard screenwriting class, and I'm so excited about it, but because I'm in that class, there has been a slight change of plan. I realized that this class is Screenwriting 1, and the next semester is Screenwriting 2, and over the course of the entire Screenwriting 1 and 2, we're supposed to write a full-length screenplay. And I'm pretty sure it's like against the rules to use classwork from another class as your thesis. So I think I'm gonna have to write 2 screenplays, which is gonna be like a lot of work. I think it's gonna be a good thing. There's got a lot of writing to do. I have a pretty solid idea of the story that I want to write for my Harvard script, but I really only have kind of a general concept for my thesis script. I like know the world and what's happening, but I have like zero plot. So I'm debating whether or not to stick with that or come up with an entirely different story, but we shall see as time unfolds. I've not met with my thesis advisor yet, so I'm kind of waiting to see what to do there, but for my Harvard class, our assignments this week are to read the script for Napoleon Dynamite, watch Napoleon Dynamite, and take 30 minutes to like write a biography of our protagonist. So I'm pretty excited to do all of that. One of the assignments I had to do for my Harvard class last week was to write the opening scene from any story we chose, not necessarily the story we were writing for class. So I decided to do the story that I might use for my thesis, not 100% sure. Still trying to decide what story I want to use for my thesis. But basically, I wrote an opening scene in like full screenplay format, and oh my god, it was so exciting. Like, I've written one short screenplay in the past, but that was, I don't know, it felt a lot more intimidating. Maybe it was because my first one, and this one felt a lot more comfortable, and it was just so enjoyable to like sit down and write a scene that's been in my head for like months. And oh my god, look at it, look at it. Hang on a second, look at this. Look at how beautiful this screenplay format is. Oh my god, it looks so professional. Ah! So this week for my thesis script, my job is basically to come up with a story, which sounds like it should be easy. Hasn't been easy. I've been thinking about it for a few days. I got a little something going on up here, so hopefully I can like flesh that out. And then for my Harvard class, I have to watch and read Jaws, and then I also have to write a very short biography on my protagonist. Last week it was a longer biography. This one is a short, sweet summary just to like get the good details in that we're gonna discuss in class. So it's been a while, but there's a reason for that. It's 'cause back freshman year in college, I was in a filmmaking group of sorts, and I didn't really know what I was doing. They're like, hey, do you have a computer? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you have Final Cut? I'm like, no. They're like, that's okay. So they borrowed my computer and put Final Cut on it. So that is how I've been editing all of my videos since freshman year. And more recently, I downloaded the screenwriting program called Celtics, or Celtics? I don't know, whichever. I downloaded it so that I could like write my screenplay and stuff, and it was having some issues, so I messaged my friend who had recommended it, and he was like, oh, well, make sure it's like compatible with like the updates on your computer or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So I updated the screenwriting program, and then I updated my computer. When I updated my computer, that's when it all went wrong. Actually, it fixed Celtics, so it didn't all go wrong. But the other half of it went wrong because it finally realized that I never actually bought Final Cut. So I lost access to Final Cut and everything on Final Cut. So I messaged my friend back and I was like, hey, got a little bit of a problem, don't have any editing software, what do you recommend? And he was like, well, industry standard now is moving towards Premiere Pro, so you should get that. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll try Premiere Pro. I used it once freshman year and it went all right, so maybe I can do it again. So I got Premiere Pro. It's very different from Final Cut. It is really hard. Okay, it's not really hard, but like I've been struggling to edit and struggling to figure out how to do things, and just like rebuilding the title card for this video was like a whole struggle. It took me like 5 minutes in Final Cut and like 5 hours in Premiere, and like long story short, I finally figured out how to use my editing software, so now there hopefully will be slightly more regular videos, and now I can finally update you on my screenwriting progress. So it's the end of the semester, and I now have 2 completed first acts of 2 different screenplays, which is insane. Like, I'm I'm so excited to finally be doing this and like to actually have something tangible that I'm working on and that I'm actually happy with. And yeah, so yes, I did end up having to write 2 separate screenplays. My Harvard screenplay is for now called Etc. Don't really have a real name for it, but there's a store near my house called Etc. So I was like, that's a cool name for a screenplay. So I named it Etc. And then my thesis script is called The Light Keeper, and it's more of like a, not sci-fi, like fantasy genre, kind of almost Lord of the Rings-esque feel, but more modern kinda, you know? So most of my semester in terms of screenwriting was spent actually reading screenplays and watching the corresponding movie and then doing it all over again every single week for my Harvard class. So I will list the movies that we read and watched down in the description. Then also for my Harvard class, we did a lot of smaller exercises where we would come in every week with like a short biography on our protagonist or an outline of our entire first act, which got majorly reworked throughout the course of the semester. And then we also did a lot of workshopping of each other's scripts, so you learn a lot by other people in your class and yourself making mistakes. And for my thesis script, I spent probably the first half of the semester trying to lock down my story and really outline it and understand the characters. I ended up going with a completely different idea than I was talking about way early in the beginning of the semester. We had just read Lord of the Rings in one of my other classes, and I was like, I want to do something like this. Not quite the scale of Lord of the Rings, because oh my god, that would be like, that would take years of my life. But it's in the same genre, kind of has the same fantasy feel. So I kind of just like one night I was falling asleep and I was like, I really need a story. So I broke down Lord of the Rings in my head into like what the story really was, and then I rebuilt it in a completely different world with completely different characters, which might not make too much sense, but it made sense to me at 3 a.m. while I was falling asleep. But yeah, I'm so excited to have been able to do this, and now I need to work on my application for the second half of the screenwriting class. Because 24 people took screenwriting 1, but only 12 can take screenwriting 2. Hopefully half of the people won't want to take screenwriting 2, they were just taking it for fun, so hopefully it won't be too hard to get in, but I still have to apply because that's how creative writing classes at Harvard work. So that's gonna be my job over winter break, that and probably looking more at my outlines and just finalizing stuff and continuing to think about it so that I don't get out of the like writing headspace. Oh, something else that I really want to do over winter break is read a lot of screenplays and watch a lot of movies. So I've kind of been going through the recent nominees for Best Screenplay and just like kind of going through those. But if you have any recommendations for movies that I should read and watch, please let me know down there, because I just watched Straight Outta Compton and it was so good. And the screenplay was so good. Like, I'm so glad I read that screenplay. I think it was a really good example of a really good screenplay. But yeah, give me your recommendations. That has been a general summary of my journey over the semester writing my 2 screenplays that I'm really excited about. Hopefully this video was enjoyable to watch. Hopefully you're not mad at me for it taking so long. And hopefully regular videos will recommence shortly now that I know how to edit things. Please do give me your recommendations down there. Like this video if you like it, share it if you wanna, subscribe to follow me on this journey to my completed 2 screenplays. Oh my god, I'm so excited. And I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.